Hi everyone, it's Carol here at Oak House Journals, and I have just lost the whole of my morning this morning searching for the items that I could use for today's assignment. I'm going to be working on assignment number 5 in the Collage Weekly Planner project that's been hosted by Margarete Miller. As always, link in the description box below the video. And what sent me off into one huge rabbit hole was the first prompt, which was a doll or a toy. And the first thing that came to mind for me was an art doll, because I have an incredible fascination with them. I love them. They're just such works of art, and particularly the ones that are fantasy or curiosity style or mere folk. I don't know what it is, that the artistry on those dolls to create them is just outstanding, especially ones that have been created by the well-known Popovi sisters. There are loads and loads of absolutely stunning creations on Pinterest, and once I started looking for, in inverted commas, the right one, I was there all morning. But I've had a fabulous time. So the first thing I've chosen for a doll, I've got this image of an art doll, and I just thought she looks so summery, well, spring-like really, because of the yellow and the orange, and that's what we need here in the UK at the moment. We're desperate for spring to come, especially as we've got a forecast of snow on the way. The next prompt is sand or stone. So again, I've called on my lovely friend Jeff, and I'm using a piece of his painted wrapping paper, and I just thought this was akin to sand, so I'm going to use that. Something cold, I've got here a little envelope, if I think you can see those, and they are snowflakes. I know this isn't a very original idea, but I grabbed these, and these are just some die cut snowflakes that I've got in amongst my stash. The next one is a clock or time. So this is a card out of an envelope that is a first aid cover for marine timekeepers, and I thought I would use this. The next thing is a photo, and I have this gorgeous little image of a hare. If I hold that up closer, isn't that cute? And that is a felted hare that my friend made for me, and I took a photograph of it to send to another friend. So this is the photo. The last one is the bonus, something that came in the mail. These are all images of clocks or watches, so I might use those. I also have here a pot of flowers, and it would be nice, given that we have a prompt for time, if I could find in amongst here a dandelion, which obviously is a time clock. Not sure that I will, but I have lots of yellowy tones. Ooh, that one's a nice one. Ooh, and that one behind. So those might work well, particularly that one. So I'm going to, actually not that one because it's got purple in it, but certainly this one I'm going to leave out and have a little play with those stamps. Oh, I'm in luck today, aren't I? So I've got my background piece here all ready to go. This is my background piece with my border drawn on, and this is the same size as Margarete Miller has in her planners. So I'm going to put my prompt up there for the time being, and also my stamps, so I know where they are. So this is my timekeeper's card, so I'm going to trim that down slightly so that it fits inside my border, so just wants a fraction of it. Now I'm going to take my little art doll and I'm going to fussy cut her, so I'll be back when that's done. My little art doll has been fussy cut out, and I've used scissors for just going around the outside. I'm not going to go round with a pen to get rid of the white edges, because she's going to go on a light background, so those white edges are not going to show. But she does have white here underneath both her arms, so I can't get at that with my scissors. Well, I can, but not very well. So I'm just going to go in and do those pieces with a sharp scalpel knife. There we go, and she's done. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have that on there like that, and I'm going to have my lovely little girl dancing across the front of this timepiece. I need to create sand or stone for the next prompt, so I think I'm going to have her like that, so that she is partially coming off the page or off this piece of card. And I'm thinking that I will have this along the bottom. Don't know whether to create a hillock and mimic the curves, or just tear away this to create sand. I'm tearing away this top portion here because it's got blue on it, which I'm not going to need. And I'm going to tear away this because I know I don't want that. And I'm going to see roughly what sort of shape it leaves me with. Could have her dancing like that. Yes, I'm liking that. I need to ground her a little bit, so not quite sure how I will do that at the moment. I think I'm liking her leg taking part of that smaller text away and covering it up, and depending on how I tilt her, she will cover up the hands on the clock. So I'm kind of thinking something like that. Right, my little hare now. I'm just going to trim this down. I'm going to put a little dab of glue underneath here, not much, but enough to just hold this in place so that it's not going to move. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to have her there. Her leg will then cover up the hands on the clock, but I'm not too bothered about that. I did wonder about that, having her almost as if she's balancing the hare on her foot. Let me just anchor that down, and then you can have a look. And whilst that looks quite cute, I don't think I'll go with it. I think I have another idea. But what I did think I could do is just tuck the hair under her leg, but also under the rock, so that it looks like the hair is sitting on the rock as well as her dancing on it. So that's how I want my hair to be. So I'm going to again put a dab of glue behind him and hold him in place. Glue down the rest of my rock. Still not going to glue this side down because I think I might want to do something with that area of blue. So I'm going to glue this leg down whilst I have it in place. And I'm also going to glue the rest of her. She is just fractionally outside the border, but I don't mind. So there we go. I'm happy with that. In fact, I'm really pleased with that. I love how she looks. I think she looks really quirky. So I've got my stamps out here. I quite like that for hiding that patch of blue. I love it. I love the colour, love the look, but I don't think it actually works here. So maybe if I use one of these stamps up behind her, will that work? Actually, I'm quite liking that. Just gives a little bit more, I'm always saying this, aren't I? A little bit more interest behind her. That kind of softens it. That black, even though it looks heavy, there is heavy black text down here, and her ribbon from her hair is kind of lining up with the top of the stamp. This is looking a bit heavy, I think, so let's take that away and check out the other stamps. There's a lot of white. Will that come away neatly? Yes, I think it will. It's a shame because there's some lovely text there. Let's just peel the rest of this away carefully. And I'm going to rip it across at the back. So I don't want to lose that nice check stamping down there. I'm going to tear that bit away though. So I could have something like that down there. Oh, definitely looks better tucked underneath, but that's not solving my problem with this. Let's have a look at this one. Not really liking that black there. Almost looks like a bird. What about if I did it like that? Tuck that bit under. Just have a hint of yellow there. If I stagger it slightly at the bottom, then I get that 33 in. Quite liking that, you know. Takes it a bit more into my page, brings my yellow down. Doesn't solve my blue problem though, does it? So do I'm going to sacrifice this stamp. and just have that bit down in the corner. I'm now thinking it was a shame that I tore away so much of that stamp. I'm wondering if I can maybe glue it so that it looks like it wasn't torn away. So that's definitely going to go there. That I'm having there, and this, let's see if I can place this so that it looks like it was torn away but was meant to be raggedy and torn away. Okay, I'm happy with how this is looking now. Throw my scraps away. Right, this was the one I thought I would have tucked up there. This one I'm not going to use, so I'm going to pop that away. Still not happy about this little corner down here. So I ripped off the Queen's head, sorry Elizabeth, and the name, which says John Harrison on here. And he must have been one of the mariner timekeepers. And I thought I would just stagger that slightly off to hide that corner. It matches this bit down here. I really should have staggered that second stamp with the yellow one behind, but I didn't, and I should have done that, and I think the transition would have been better if I had done that. So I'm going to just try popping that on here, see if I can distract the eye from looking at that corner too much. It's not the best solution by any means, but I think I can cope with it and I can get it in place right. So I added on that extra little piece of the original stamp to this left hand side, and I still have a portion of the blue showing down there, but not too much, and I'm happy with that. I can live with that because there's slight blue tones in here. I didn't like how that little extra piece that I'd ripped off met the main part of the stamp, and my fault was when I glued this main part of the stamp to this yellow background one, I should have staggered it higher. It left me with a corner down here that I didn't think sat particularly well. So I ripped off Queen Elizabeth's head off the stamp, and I ripped off also the John Harrison detail that was on the stamp, and I've just glued it up there. And it's not the best solution, but I think it does match with this bit down here in terms of colour, and it sort of works, so I'm going to leave it at that. And this was the stamp I chose to go up in this corner. I'm thinking that this might be better peeled away at the top. There we go. There was that letter P behind there, and I'm aiming to cover that up, bring it in as close to her as I can get. I'm going to put some glue behind this. As you can see, the backing is still on it. See if I can peel away a little bit more. Not too bothered about it though, really. And I'm going to be putting it in from that side, so let's get a dab of glue behind it. And now to glue my little art doll in place. I think she's so cute, I really do. I like how she's very spring-like in terms of the colour of her outfit. She's a little bit quirky in that she's got carrots on her outfit, but I think she's absolutely gorgeous. So I've got her hair ribbon lined up with the top of my stamp as well. As I mentioned, I've got these tiny little snowflakes that I'm going to use to hit the prompt for cold. I don't want anything too big, but I was just thinking I might just pop one on her foot there. It's not noticeable at all. Or the other thing is whether I scatter them all over. Let's see if I can find a nicer snowflake than that one. I can always layer these up. Ooh, that's a pretty one. It is very subtle You can hardly see it at all. I'm hoping you can see where I've placed my snowflakes. Let me just lift those up. I was going to just put one on the end of her toe with a little gem in the centre of it. I've got some tiny ones here. I've got 4 of them, and I think I might scatter those just generally, something like this, I think. Whether I put gems in them or not, I don't know. So I'm going to glue these down now. So I've lifted out my gems. This is just a little pack of nail art gems that I've had for a wee while. I got them off Amazon, and I'm going to just put a dab of glue in the centre of each of my little snowflakes. I've got one of the gems out here, so I'm just going to flip it over, and I'm just going to touch it into the pool of glue and just press it down, and that will stick in place. I'm not normally a blingy sort of girl, even though I do have a few blingy bits in my stash. But these snowflakes are white on white, which is nice and delicate and doesn't necessarily detract from, whoops, the main image that I've got here. But it just brings the eye to the snowflakes and makes you notice them. So that's why I decided I wanted to include them on the page. So I've got those snowflakes there, and then I just put a couple of the vellum ones up here. And do I like it? Yes, I love it. And mainly because I've got this quirky little art doll. I was always going to love it with her included, and anybody that knows me knows I absolutely adore hares, so yeah, he had to be in there. So in terms of the prompts, a doll, well, that's my art doll, as I've mentioned. Sand or stone, well, I've tried to make a stone that she is dancing on out of that wrapping paper. Something cold, well, these are my little snowflakes down here, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and here. A clock or time, well, I've got my clock stamps, my mariner stamps, and the big one at the back there. A photo, that's my little hare, and bonus, something that came in the mail, well, stamps. So there we go, everybody. I'm pleased with this one. I like it. I like it when I can pick out enough of the prompts to kind of create a picture or a story. That sits more comfortable with me when I'm doing these collages. But either way, I hope you enjoyed seeing it come together, and I hope you'll join me for the video of the next assignment 6. So until then, everybody, take care. Bye for now.